Hi, I'm Nathan Pierce with 401 Auto RV CampMart here in Cambridge, Ontario. Today we're going to go through some of the features and benefits of this Pioneer DS320. We'll start up here at the propane tanks. This unit is equipped with two 20-pound propane tanks. Standard tanks you'll find on a barbecue at home. One thing to remember about the propane tanks is you want to make sure that during transportation that the tanks are turned off. They're off and you turn them all the way clockwise. To open the tanks, you're going to turn them all the way counterclockwise until you feel a little bit of resistance. So again, remember, during transportation, turn the propane tanks off. Next, we'll go back here to the battery. This is a standard 12-volt deep cycle RV battery. One thing to remember about the RV batteries is during transportation, it needs to be hooked up. If the trailer is going to be sitting for an extended period of time, please remember to disconnect one of the negative or positive battery terminals, as there is systems in the trailer that continually run and can potentially drain the battery. If you're hooked up to camp power, you can certainly keep the battery connected. That way it'll continue to charge the battery off the onboard converter. About the breakaway switch. Again, why it's important that the battery is connected during transportation, because if there ever was an issue where the trailer came dislodged from the vehicle, this cable would be pulled and it would actually apply the brakes on the trailer and stop it safely. So one thing to remember when it comes to trailers is that they do require maintenance similar to a car. The biggest thing on the trailers is going to be your sealants. You got sealant around all the corner moldings, you got sealant around all the doors, up on the roof where the roof membrane meets the side corners. You're going to maintain those seals. We recommend that you check them every 3 months. The issue is the trailers are made from all different materials. They expand and contract at different rates, and if they're traveling down the road, it's very common to see some of these things kind of shift and actually open up little sealant gaps. So you're going to want to keep an eye on the sealant gaps all around the corners, the lights, the doors, and maintain that every 3 months. While we got you here, we're going to talk briefly about the stabilizer system. On this trailer and on all travel trailers, the stabilizer systems are just that. They're just for stabilizing. They're not meant to be load bearing, so if you try and lift the trailer with it, they could potentially damage them. So once you get the trailer leveled, usually you can use the tongue jack to go up and down, front and back to get it leveled. And then you can also use some pieces of wood or blocks underneath the tires so that it's level side to side. Once you've got it where you want it, you're gonna wanna put your stabilizers down just so they kind of touch the ground. Again, if you try and use excessive force on them, they could potentially damage. Okay, so now that we're at the side of the trailer, I'm gonna show you a few different things that we got going on here. This here is your fresh water tank fill. So if you go to a campground that they don't have water supply where you can hook up to your city water connection, or if you're going backcountry camping, what you want to do is you're going to want to fill this tank up. So this tank, you can just stick a regular garden hose in here, and once you fill it up, it will actually come out this vent. You know you can stop. And then you can just use your onboard pump to operate all the water systems. Next to that, we've got our water heater. Typically, you won't need to access this too often, but again, this does get hot as the hot water comes on. In this particular model, not all models have them, but this particular model has dual. It is a propane as well as electric. So there's going to be a switch inside where you can switch it between propane and electric. Again, this is hot, so you're not going to want to have any type of enclosure around this side of the trailer, as there is going to be CO coming off of these. Next, we'll go over, here's your furnace outlet. Again, that's going to get hot, so you're going to want to keep, the picnic table away from this area. Don't want a lot of people playing around that. The good thing is they're both kind of in one area on this particular trailer, so you know that keep the kids and that kind of stuff away from this area. Again, that's going to get hot when the furnace is turned on. This here is the back side of your fridge. Right, you can notice it's got this hose hanging out here. It's actually supposed to do that. So that's going to be your drain line for your fridge. If there's excessive condensation or frost, that'll actually drain through there. So you want to make sure that this little hose is actually sticking out there. Typically, you don't need to get into the back side of the fridge unless you're having an issue with the trailer. But for the most part, you just leave that cover on. Then we're going to go up here. So this is actually the range vent cover. So when you're cooking inside the trailer and you're using your stovetop, you're going to want to make sure that this vent is popped open, like this. So that what it's going to do is going to allow the hot air, hot damp air that you're using if you're boiling water, it's going to let that escape from this trailer. During transportation and when not in use, you can certainly just push them in and they click in place. Okay, at the back of the trailer here, we've got an outdoor shower, we've got our black tank flush, and we've got our city water connection. Outdoor shower, it's great. You've got hot water, you've got cold water. You go to the beach, your feet are sandy, you want to wash the dog off, you've got an outdoor shower right there. Beside that, we've got our black tank flush. Black tank flushes that. It flushes out the black tank. So to use that, you're going to hook up a hose to the black tank valve here. You're going to open up your black tank gate valve on the side of the trailer, and then you can turn your hose on. That's going to allow you to be able to flush out any debris that's in your black tank, especially if your sensors are being a little bit funny. Again, you're going to want to do that basically every time that you need to, your tank gets full. Hook up your black tank flush, open up your gate valve, and then turn on your tap. It'll flush that right out. Beside that, we got your city water connection. So if you go to a campground and water's provided, you just hook your hose right up to there. So that's going to pressurize the whole system. You don't have to worry about your pump or anything like that. If you are on a campsite that does have water provided, we also recommend a water pressure regulator. The problem with the campgrounds is some of them are in some rural areas and they use pumps to pump their water. You got a lot of campers, a lot of people turning water on. Sometimes they'll actually bump up that water pressure, and it could potentially cause issues with the trailer plumbing system. The plumbing system in the trailer, very similar to like you'll find at home. They are a plastic type of plumbing, but just not as durable and not as strong as you would find at home. So they don't really take that higher pressure as well as you would at your home. So we recommend using a water pressure regulator. Keeps it at a constant pressure, and you don't have to worry about those little leaks that you may find when you overpressurize the system. Okay, just inside the door here, we've got our awning controls. Extend and retract. Extend, obviously is going to let the awning all the way out. Retract is going to bring the awning all the way in. Okay, we're going to briefly talk about the fully powered awning on this trailer. As we showed you inside, it's got the extend, which is going to let the awning out, and retract, which is going to let the awning in. Now, if you continue to hold the extend button, the awning will actually start to roll up backwards. You just want to be a little bit aware of that. When you see that this little extra flap on the outside here comes down, awning's all the way out. Now, the awnings are made more for shade and light rain, and as a lot of rain could potentially damage the awning, buckling the arms. It's a lot of weight to be on that fabric and could actually bend the arms. Another thing you need to think about is wind. Wind getting underneath this could act like a sail and could potentially damage the awning arms. If you are getting a little bit of rain and a little bit of buildup, you could also just pull down here in the middle. That's going to allow the water to drain off either to the front, and the back arm has the same thing. You can have the water drain off a little bit to the back. So again, remember, the awning is more for shade and light rain, as wind and heavy rains could potentially damage the awning arms, and we don't need that. You being stuck out at a campground that you can't get your awning back in. Beside that, we've got our slide out room. Now this is a simple in and out button. To bring the slide out in or out, you simply just hold it. And once the slide out gets to the position where it is fully all the way out or all the way in, it'll actually make a bit of a clicking noise. At that time you want to stop. One thing to remember when you are operating with a slide, the only way it's going to seal properly is if the slide is all the way in or all the way out. If the slide is partially in or partially out, it will potentially cause a leak. So the seal, again, the seals are only for when it's all the way out and all the way in. And that's your basic slide operation. So just inside the door of this trailer, you're going to find the control panel, or kind of the information center for the trailer. It's going to give you tank level readings, battery level readings, how you turn the water pump on, water heater operation. So we'll start here with the battery. So if you're backcountry camping and you're not hooked up to shoreline power, and you want to know how your battery percentage is, you simply just press the button. Right now it's showing full, which is great. Next to that, you got your fresh water tank level. So again, if you're off city water connection, you can fill up your tank and keep an eye on the level by pressing the fresh water button. Next to that, we've got our black tank level. Now the black tank is the water that comes from the toilet. Press the button, and you'll have an idea where you're at as far as level goes. Next to that, we've got our gray water. Gray water is going to come from your sink and your shower. Again, press the button, and have an idea what the indication of the level is. Down here, we've got our water pump. So again, if you're needing to draw from your fresh water tank, you simply just turn the water pump on. You'll hear a bit of a hum. Once it gets pressurized, and it'll come on and off as you use water. You can just leave it in the on position. Again, that's only if you're backcountry camping and drawing water from your freshwater tank. Next to that, again, I explained outside, this particular trailer has two types of way to heat the water. You've got a propane. In order to use it, you simply just make sure your propane tanks are turned on, and you turn it on. The propane system for the hot water heater will automatically fire. Don't have to worry about it, and you can leave it in the on position, similar to you would at home, your hot water heater. Once it's turned on, it'll heat up as needed, and obviously before the end of your camping trip, when you're getting ready to pack up, just remember to turn that off. Now, if you're hooked up to a power site and you want to maybe preserve some of your propane, this particular trailer does have a heater for electric portion of your water heater. Again, just turn it on. It'll automatically heat the temperature of the water to a specific amount, and it'll come on and off as you need it. Again, when you're done, you get the weekend camping trip, just remember to turn these items off. In this trailer, we've got a standard microwave. Now this works off basically household power. You're not going to be able to use that if you're just using off of battery. You will need to be plugged into shoreline power, just a standard microwave. Down here, you've got our range hood. So what I spoke about outside was opening up that vent. When you turn the fan on, you're going to want to make sure again that vent on the outside is open. Allow that hot air to come out. Up here we got a 3-burner stove. To light that, you're going to turn it to the high or light position, and then you'll be able to turn this automatic sparker, and the sparker will automatically light the burners that you turn on. One thing we need to know about is the oven. The oven does not have automatic ignition, so you will need to turn it to the pilot position, hold it down, and actually have a little barbecue lighter lighted in there. Once it's lit, you'll be able to release it and set the temperature. Measure if there's any propane leaks inside the trailer. If this starts to alarm, then it gives you an indication that there could potentially be a propane leak. Now this is hardwired into the battery system of the trailer, so you don't have to worry about replacing batteries or anything like that. If this does start to chirp, you may want to have your propane system looked at. Over here we've got a dual fridge, so this will work off of propane or electric. Right here, you just have to turn it to the on position. Next to that, we've got our gas, or check, or auto lights here. So as soon as you turn the fridge on or off, it's going to look for the easy. It's going to try and go to electric first. If you're backcountry camping, you don't have the electric option, you can simply just force it to go into gas. So it'll run off of propane, combination of propane and your battery. So this trailer's got a digital thermostat, which is going to operate your furnace, and it's going to operate your air conditioning as well. To turn it on, simply hit the on or mode button, and you'll be able to select whether you want air conditioning. You select your desired temperature, obviously up and down, or if you want the furnace, again, temperature up and down. To turn it off, just hit the button, it'll turn off. Back here we've got our power converter as well as our fuse panels. You may hear a slight little hum coming from this area. Very normal, that's actually the fan. So the fan's trying to keep that cool. What this unit does is it actually takes your shoreline power when you're plugged in and actually converts it to some of that to 12 volts to maintain your battery as well as operate the 12 volt accessories on the trailer. If you are having an issue with something not working, it's a good idea to maybe come in here first and see if any of the breakers need to be reset. Now you may notice these look very similar to the breakers you may have at home, as this is more on the alternating current or AC current side of the trailer. The trailer also has a 12 volt system, so you've got your house system similar to at home, and you've got more like an automotive or 12 volt system on this side. This is where they all come together. So you've got breakers here. If it's in the middle, then you'll know you need to reset it. Here you've got standard 12 volt inline fuses. If a 12 volt light or your water heater, slide out, those types of items all run off of 12 volts. If something's not working, it'd be a good idea just to check to see if these fuses are burnt out. Now you can do that simply by even pulling this fuse out, and you'll see if it makes a good contact or a good connection. But again, if you're having a 12 volt issue, something not working in the trailer, check there. AC side or alternating current side, similar to your electric water heater, is going to run off of that. Your air conditioner, microwave, those types of things, they're going to run off of your AC current. Inside the bathroom, right around the sink area, you're going to find an outlet. Outlet may look a little bit different than the other ones in the trailer, or very similar to one you may have around your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink at your home. This is a GFI outlet. Basically, all outlets outside of the trailer go through this outlet. If you plug an appliance in and you notice it's not working, I would check to see if the GFI has been tripped. It's very common to do that if you typically overload the system, if you've got multiple items going at the same time. So again, if you're having an issue when you're plugging in something into one of the outlets and it's not working, I'd go into the bathroom and just see if this needs to be reset. Simply just press the reset button in the middle, it will reset, and everything should be good. This particular trailer has 2 emergency exits. So if you cannot get access to your door, there's an emergency exit at the back here in the bunk room. You simply just lift up both of these levers, and this window will actually open up and you can escape that way. There's also another similar window up in the front bedroom. Again, if for any reason there is a fire or smoke, you can exit the emergency window through the back. There's also another one up in the front bedroom. So this particular trailer has sliding doors here in the front bedroom, as well as sliding doors going into the rear bedroom. One thing you want to remember is when you're transporting down the road, you're going to want to make sure that these transportation straps are in place. You don't want the door sliding back and forth, potentially damaging the door or the wall of the trailer. So again, when you're traveling down the road, make sure that the transportation straps are in place on the front and rear bedroom doors if your model is equipped with it. So back here we've got our black and gray water valves, as well as our sewer outlet. If you're hooked up to a sewer system on your campsite, simply remove this cap, you hook up your hose, and the other end would go to the sewer. This would be the tank valve for your gray tank. You can leave that open all the time if you're hooked up to sewer. That's going to be from your shower and your sink. Your black water, you don't want to leave that open all the time, as you could potentially start to get debris build up underneath the toilet and in the lines. You're going to want the black tank to be at least at 3/4% before you empty that, just so that you have enough material to push that out. Again, once you do that, and if you have a black tank flush valve, open that up, use your black tank flush valve, and you'll be able to clean that out. Now, if you're not hooked up to sewer on a site and you have to dump at the end of after your camping trip, again, very similar plan, but you're going to actually dump your black tank first. You're going to want your black tank valve opened up. Once you can hear that stop rushing of water, you can simply just close your black tank valve, then open up your gray tank valve. What that's going to do is it's actually going to flush out the line a little bit from that black tank.